Okay, for 20, it says which average, so you've got a choice of mean, mode or median, would be most suitable for each set of data. Explain your choice. So when one value appears much more frequently than the others, it is not at the upper or lower end of the data. So remember, mode means most common, so that if it's most common, it will appear more frequently. So the answer to that is mode, because most common result represents the data set best. For question B, it says the data is fairly evenly spread, but there is one extreme value at the upper end. So median would probably be the middle number, because the extreme value wouldn't affect that. So you'll see the extreme value will affect the mean. So the median is probably the best one to take from that. Okay, question 21. A school timetable is being arranged. The day can be arranged in 30-minute classes or 50-minute classes or 60-minute classes. No matter which of the three choices is made, the total daily teaching time will be the same. Ignoring the time for break or lunch, what is the daily teaching time? Now this kind of question is a lowest common multiple question. So what you would do here is you would start with 50, 60 and 30, and you would just keep adding 50s to this one. This one here you would add 60s onto this and 30 onto the other one here, until you get to a number that's the same here. So you can see 300, 300 and 300. What that just means is it'll be 300 minutes. So the daily teaching time for each one is 300 minutes on this. Right, so for 22, it says solve the equation, and it's got 2x minus 1 over 3 plus x plus 2 over 2 plus x over 6 equals 8. There can be many different ways of working this out. I am actually showing you just one way here, but you can do it in so many different ways with this. So we'll start with this one. So first step is, to solve this one, is I would put the 8 and put it over 1. So that just means everything's in fraction form. The next step is to get a common denominator. So you can see that with 3, 2, 6 and 1, 6 would be a common denominator along those fractions. So because 6 is a common denominator, we can change this first fraction to 6, the denominator to 6. So that means we have to adjust the top part. So we're timesing by 2 at the bottom, so we have to times by 2 at the top. So you can see 2, and we're timesing the expression by putting them in brackets like that. Then the next step is next one is basically 2, we times that by 3. So we have to times the top by 3, which you can see here is 3 times, and by timesing it, you put it into brackets, so it's 3 times x plus 2. The third fraction is you didn't have to change it because it was always at 6, so it stays the same. The next one you had to times by 6, so you have to times the top part by 6 as well. So you should have this here with all the common denominators. Now once you've got your common denominators, you can cancel these down and just work with the top part of the fraction. So it'll be 2 brackets 2x plus minus 1 plus 3x plus 2 plus x equals 48. The next step is you would expand your brackets or multiply out your brackets. So you can see 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 2 is 6, plus x stays where it is and equals 48. Next is we tidy it up by simplifying it. So we've got 4x plus 3x plus x. So 4x plus 3x is 7x, plus x is 8x. The next part is your numbers. So minus 2 plus 6 is 4. You can see it's plus 4 there. And that's equal to 48. And then it's just, from there on in, it's we just keep solving. So like it'll be plus 4 we want to get rid of, so we have to take away 4 and we have to take away 4 on each side. So when we take away 48, take away 4 is 44. We have to divide by 8 both sides. You can see, divide by 8 on the left hand side, 8 disappears, and 44 over 8. Cancel that down to 11 over 2, so we divided each top and bottom by 4. And we put it into a mixed number. So 11 divided by 2 is 5, remainder 1. So we've got 5 and then remainder 1 to make it 5.5. Okay, for 23, it's basically factorise y squared, take away 6y plus 8. So the first thing you would do is to get the plus 8. And you would get the factors of plus 8 at the end of that. So you've got 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. But it also has to add up to minus 6. So you can see that where I put is minus 2 and minus 4. So what that means is minus 2 take away 4 would give you minus 6, but minus 2 times minus 4 would give you plus 8. So what the answer should be is, when it's factorised, is it's going to be y take away 2 and y take away 4. So the next question, 24, is like right angle triangles. So you can see on the left hand side, you can see it's an angle, so it's more likely going to be like trigonometry to work that out. So a rectangle and a square have the same length of diagonal, which is this one here. And calculate the length of the side of the square. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So the first thing that you would do is basically use cos theta equals the adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent would be 9 and the hypotenuse would be the diagonal of that. And you can see there, so you have cos 53.13, and then you have the adjacent is 9 and the hypotenuse is, I've just put x there. Then we have to rearrange. So x comes across and the cosine 53.13 gets divided. So you can see it there. That's just basically flipped around there. So you just put it into a calculator, and what you'll get is a calculator number here, and then it's rounded to 15. So that means the diagonal here is 15. Now we have to find out what the sides are of a square is. So you can see the sides are the same. I've just put x and x there, so that it's the same number. So this one here, because it's dealing with sides, is Pythagoras. So you can see this is a hypotenuse, and all we're doing is squaring these two numbers and adding them together. So what we've got is x squared plus x squared is 2 lots of x squared equals 225. We can divide this by 2, and what we're left with is x squared, and then at the end we can square root it. So when we square root it, we should get 10.6. So that just means that the side of the square is 10.6 centimetres. So we're on to the last question, which is 25. And this one says it's a composite shape. It consists of a right-angled isosceles triangle. So that means that these two sides would be the same. That's why I've got 1 metre next to that. And a semicircle. Show that the area of the composite shape is approximately 1.285 metres squared. So the area of a triangle is basically base times height divided by 2, which then becomes 1 times 1 divided by 2, which is a half, and 0.5 metres squared. So the next step is basically to get the diameter of it, because like the semicircle is going to be pi r squared divided by 2, but we need the radius to work that out. So first of all, we need to get the diameter of this here. So we can use this right angle triangle and use Pythagoras for it. So this is, x would be the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. So we can square and add these two together, which we have done here. And then once we've done that, we can actually square root the 2, which when you put in the calculator will be 1.4142 meters. So that would be the diameter of it. So to get the radius of this, you would divide 1.4142 by 2, which that's why I've got 0.707 squared there. So it's pi r squared divided by 2 because it's a semicircle. And when we put that in the calculator, we should get the area of the semicircle should be 0.785 meters squared. To finalise everything is the area of the whole shape. So we've get the area of the triangle, which is 0.5 meters squared, and the area of the semicircle, 0.785 meters squared, and add them together to get the total area, which is 1.285 meters squared. So for question B, it says, find the force applied to the area of the composite shape when the pressure is 15 newtons per meter squared. Right, first of all, we need to find the formula for pressure. And sometimes it can be, you can use a triangle for that. So we're looking for find the force applied. So if we cover up the force, we know that we have to do pressure times area for this. So we've got pressure, it tells you in the question, it is 5 newtons per meter squared, which is 5 here. And the area of the composite shape is 1.285 meters squared. So we work that one out and we times them together to get 6.4258, and that should be in newtons.